Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Success Series. I'm your host, David Berg. I'm here with my good friend, Adam Greenfield. You might know him from one of the first episodes that we've done. I think it was episode 20, about a year ago. We're now filming in Marina Del Rey at Commander AI's headquarters. Adam, super excited to be with you today. I know you said we wanted to have a little bit more of a chill format today.
We are,
no pun intended, right? We're gonna talk about a bunch of cool stuff, but Adam, maybe just kick it off for our guests who haven't heard you the first time around.
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you do? And let's just jump right in.
Yeah, my name's Adam Greenfield. I grew up in New York. I'm the son of Joseph and Susan. They're angels. Like professionally, I've started a few e-commerce businesses, and now I run a creative studio called Fridge. I started a personalized nootropics brand called Thesis, and another supplement brand called Thesis. They're both based in New York.
Awesome. And we spoke about founders a bunch before the podcast, but in being a founder, what are some of the most unexpected things that you didn't anticipate when you initially, launched your first company or launched your first product?
That I didn't anticipate. Paperwork, and how unorganized, and how much impact my inability to be organized would actually impact the business, and then having this epiphany of holy shit, I need to surround because I'm so kind of scattered and unorganized and don't keep everything together. How important it is to be surrounded by people that are ultra organized. And so I think that was an unexpected thing. I think I got away in school and growing up, just where things weren't happening as fast.
Right.
There wasn't as much documentation. And then you hire people and you have to do HR and you have to do insurance and you have to be, I used to say it all the time. I'm like HR nightmare.
You just throw everything out there.
I'm just I don't fucking know.
Dog ate my homework.
Yeah. Things falling through the cracks.
Right.
And then as the years have gone by and I have put in processes and brought in people to ensure things don't fall through the cracks and surrounded myself with people that over-index on structured thinking, process, it's allowed me to kind of live in the strategy, vision, kind of what to do and not having to actually execute it.
So that makes total sense.
And what about you?
Yeah.
What's your answer to that question? Because now you've been in the fucking startup thing for a minute now.
18 months.
Yeah.
I think a ton. I mean, definitely the organization thing, and I'll say that, and I'll ask you a follow-up on that too, because I've been struggling with that from day one. But I've always been that way. And I sort of deliberately knew that. And I said, well, we're a startup. We're not going to spend money on legal. We're not going to spend money on anybody putting this together. This is going to fall on me. And I kind of kicked the can down the road. And now we're having to go back and fix things, which I think is a good problem to have. Because I think if you ever get to a place where you can go and pay for that, that means that you've got into a good place, right? So it's totally. That's not a bad thing. I think aside from that, I've always been really good at having an idea of something, executing it myself, but never really being a team player. And as a CEO, I have to be a team player. I have to trust other people. And I've noticed, so we just hired a new lady for customer success. And I find myself not micromanaging, so to speak, but not just allowing her to grow into the role. It's her first week and I'm on the demo calls with her and I'm biting my tongue not to just interject here. It's no, she knows what she's doing. She can handle it. Right? Or if it's on product, I'm following up 15 times and you roll this out, and you roll this out. It's trust that they have it on the roadmap and they're going to get it delivered or they're going to get it pushed. And so letting go and trusting any of my employees is probably the hardest thing. Not because I don't believe in them, because I obviously do, because we hired them. But I think I feel that if I'm not involved in it from start to finish, it just won't happen. And I haven't figured that out yet.
Have you been proven wrong yet?
Many times, not in this company, but almost my entire life, where I noticed if I wasn't directly or intimately involved in a project that I wanted to manifest, whether it's silly as dinner plans with friends, I was always the one initiating it. I was let's do an event, let's do a dinner. And it was always coming from here, it wouldn't happen. And so I think I just got programmed where it's if I'm not initiating it, if I'm not pushing it to close, it's not going to happen.
So is that something you want to change? And it's weird.
It's weird. Because part of it, it's okay, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because nothing's going to slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
It drives you a little bit nuts.
Totally.
Takes up a lot of your time. I think I'd like to get to a place, and maybe this can bridge into our next conversation, and I'm curious how you deal with it, but I think trust ties into like, do you fully believe in the people that you're bringing on board to the team? And do they have a reason to work as hard as you do? And I think that I've yet to figure that out, or what necessarily drives people aside from monetary incentives, aside from equity. Like, how do you get people to feel electrified about what they're building? I think when I know that about all of my employees, then I'll be completely hands off, because I know that they'll work as hard as I will. I think it's not that I don't trust it. It's that I don't think that they actually care as much as I do. Which
They don't.
they don't.
Gary Vee talks about this all the time.
Really?
There's no one's ever going to care as much as you.
Can that ever change?
Nope.
Nope. Why?
No one will ever care about your business as much as you do.
Okay.
That is the CEO, the founder. You're always going to give the most shits. There needs to be areas of gray.
Okay.
Like, that was something that I realized with Thesis as well. Like, so I started Thesis with Dan Freed.
Yep.
Dan actually had the idea first, did all of the research. I came in a year or two after he had already been like doing all the research and doing the clinical trials.
Sure.
I will never care as much as Dan cared. And no one will ever care as much as I do. What we need to find is people that give a shit, but we can't expect them to
Ever be at the same.
No. It's never going to happen.
I have a hard time with that.
It's just not going to happen.
Well, okay, so
there's zero examples of that being the case.
that being the case, it's hard to quantify, but I think, because when I was working for Patterson at Battle, I did it for 5 years. I felt like, one, it was my company. I was not deeply incentivized monetarily, but I was deeply incentivized because he would tell me that everything that I do is directly impacting the value of the company. And he would show me that. And actually, I don't know why I don't do this if he did that to me, but he would say, we just raised $300 million, and most of that is because of your sales ability. And that, as a salesperson, you just feel like, oh my God, I'm going to go crazy now for the next 360 days to get that done.
See if you can pull that off.
Right. So was that an anomaly case? But
I still don't think you cared as much
as Mike. Right. So maybe I cared a lot.
You cared a lot.
Right.
It's a fool's errand to believe someone's going to be at your level. You will always care the most.
So where do you want to
No
get
one ever
there?
cared as much as Adam Newman did about WeWork.
Right.
No one ever cares as much about Meta as Zuck.
Right.
But no one cares as much about Google as Larry and Sergey. It's always someone else's. Now, you can really care.
Yeah.
But there's infinite levels of giving a shit. But to expect anyone to meet you on that one metric, I don't think that's what we should be optimizing for.
Okay. So then with that, one, tapping into the human psyche and just your thought and spirituality, aside from money, what gets people excited?
Impact, purpose.
Okay.
And I think everybody's different. So one thing that I like to think about, especially when I'm hiring at Fridge, is do they care about our mission? Am I clear enough about why we're doing the thing and like the impact that we're making and how we're making the world a better place that I can enroll other people on the why? And then the second is, how much do they care about their craft, the thing that they're doing? So the one way I think about it now is everything is changing so quickly. Every function of the business, marketing, growth, CX, ops, HR, engineering, tech, it's all evolving and changing so quickly that the best practitioners in each end of the business are not those who have the most amount of experience. It's those who are going to be able to learn all the new ways that AI is reshaping their function.
Right.
And so the way that I think about it is I'm hiring for speed of learning. How quickly are you learning? That directly correlates. The speed in which you're learning is going to directly correlate to how interested you are in your function and how easy it is for you to take courses, watch YouTube videos, and learn all the new shit. How effortless is it for you to be reading all the newsletters on your specific thing? And so I see it as giving a shit about the mission and understanding how it is that this business is making the world a better place. And two, giving a shit about your function.
Like, I think about myself or anybody else, it's like when you are excited about whatever the thing is that you're doing, that's enough to usually get you to work a lot harder than you would otherwise. So I totally resonate with that. I think, at least on our team, every person that we've hired, they specialize in one thing or another, whether it's they're an AI engineer, they're a product designer, like that is their diploma, that is who they are, that is like everything about them. And I think if you can light them up in that regards, then yeah, like, you know, show them, hey, you did this design for, you know, UI filter, customer loved it, like that'll make you feel good. So I totally resonate with that. I think if we jump to a different category, when you look at hiring, like what are you looking at when you hire people? Do you look at experience? Do you look at synergy from an energy perspective? Like what are the most important things to you?
I think step one, just to get through like that screening interview, I'm at a place now where at least a lot of the roles that I'm hiring for, I need to know that you've done it before.
Okay.
So it's like really simple. Like, here are the things we need done. Just show me how you've done it before, what your process was to get that thing done, and show me like measurable results on how that impacted the business you were doing it for. So that's like step one. Step two is like, how much do you enjoy doing your thing? Like, you've been doing, you know, say some, whatever, it's an engineer. You've been writing code for the past 5 years and you've built some cool products. Like, do you want to continue doing that? Or are you like trying to get out of that?
Right.
There's a lot of people who have been doing it and now they kind of want to pivot away. But like, they're like, well, this is how I make my money.
This is what I'm good at.
And I'm good at it. I don't like working with those people.
Right.
I want to work with people who've been doing it for a little while and want to do it for the next 5 years, because I need them to continue to get better at it. And if you're like 1 foot out the door in that function, like I've been doing CX for, 5 years, but I kind of don't want to do it anymore, but I'm good at it, so I'll take this role. Like, I'm going to self-select out of that human.
Right.
And then 3, like, do they have a deep compassion for our end user? I say, like, the one thing for me when it comes to starting companies, the question I ask is like, would I want to hang out with my customers? Like, do I care enough about my end customers that I want to hang out with them? That I want to have conversations with them, that I want to sit on the phone with them, that I understand what their plight in life is? Do I deeply appreciate the service that they're bringing to the world? And if that's the case, that's where the spirituality comes from. If we have deep compassion, either we are our customer or we understand the importance of what our customer is, we'll be able to open up a level of intuition and creativity in solving problems for them that is like that next level of problem solving and advancement if we have deep compassion. So yes, the 3 things I'm looking for are: 1, have you been doing the thing?
Right.
2, do you want to keep doing the thing? And 3, do you have a deep compassion for our end user, to hopefully open up that funnel of intuition to come up with new creative ideas to keep doing your job more.
Right. Yeah, I think the mistake a lot of founders make is that we get so obsessed with what we built or our vision for the product. That might be different than what customers actually want. And then you get that feedback, but you're so stuck to your idea that you force the wrong product instead of listening to what your customers and that's probably why most companies fail, because every great company and every company that's failed had feedback from customers. And I think, right, like the BlackBerry example is like the most common. It's like everybody was telling you that they didn't need buttons and that they wanted a screen, right? And BlackBerry was like so adamant about their build because it worked for them for so long. And so I think that's just like fascinating to me. I think as a founder,
Have you gotten any?
Oh my gosh, feedback?
Yeah, from
that's contradicted what I think is.
Tell me.
Oh, all the time. So for example, early on, I thought, especially because our platform's AI based and it's all sort of digitized and automated, I said if we build a product that requires very little heavy user involvement, it'll scale very quickly and our customers will love it. About 2-3 weeks since our first launch and customer, they gave us feedback. They're like, hey, look, this makes me feel useless. This makes me feel like my job doesn't have a purpose. And although it's super cool, I don't enjoy it. And I don't feel like I can customize it. So that was one customer feedback. Then another customer onboarded and they said, this makes me feel like it's just has a mind of its own, which I can't really control, which doesn't make me feel comfortable. And I don't trust that it'll send out the emails the way I want it to. And so even though I was like super psyched, we called it autopilot, got inspired by like Tesla's autopilot, you'd basically log in, you'd enter a couple prompts about what your company does, and then boom, it's your sales, sort of AI engineer. Now we have a bunch of different modules where users can come in, they can turn this on autopilot, they can turn that off. If they want to send the emails themselves, they can send the emails themselves. If they want the AI to do it, they can do that too. And they love it. Even though that's not what I thought was cool. And so it took me like a couple of weeks, if not months, to get comfortable with that idea. Because like I had spent 6 months, and that's the other thing. It's like all the time that you spent building something and thinking about something, and then it rolls out, and then you have to backtrack and build something different.
You're introducing a new technology to a new category of people who probably have never used AI before.
Right. Or any technology
or any
whatsoever.
tech at all.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. What a great piece of insight.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I love that.
Yeah.
And so you had to almost regress back the advancement of the product to meet kind of the anxiety level of the end user.
Right. We actually like made it less technical or less like cool from an AI perspective to accommodate to our users. Something else that I wanted to talk to you about, and I was talking to another founder about this yesterday. We were having a conversation, and we both had challenging days, I could tell, and we were basically both at the walls initially, and both like refusing to talk about the actual challenges we were going through. We're like, oh, the company's good, things are, we're growing. The typical like banter between a founder where you're not actually sharing anything of meaning or substance. And then as soon as I said something that I was struggling with, they just like, opened the water floods, and it was like, this is happening and that's happening, and they became vulnerable, and then I was okay with being vulnerable too. Yeah. So the question that I have for you is, I think a lot of founders, including myself, we feel that the way that we become successful, the way that we gain respect, is by pretending like we have things figured out, even though nobody really does. I don't think that's your nature, and I think I've seen you be vulnerable, and I've also seen you not act like you know everything. So one, what's allowed you to do that? And then two, let's just talk about like why founders have this confused mindset that nobody actually really cares about.
It's funny because one day it kind of just turned on. I like created these masks and these walls and this fake persona for so many years where I like felt I would say yes to everything. I would try to pretend and spin doctor, and I'm good at sales, so like, and I'm good with my words, so I would be able to like weave these stories. And at the end of the day, I think it takes a remarkable amount of energy to keep up those personas.
What did I say last time? Am I saying the same thing? Am I consistent? Right.
Totally. And just like keeping up that fake persona is a lot of energy. And I think it would like made me really uncomfortable. Two, where it ended up being, I think what broke it for me and like was just like, dude, there were two things that happened that was just kind of got me there. One was I ended up just making a lot of promises that I couldn't come through with. And
give us some examples.
People would be like, hey, are you able to do this? Are you able to do that? And I would like, yes, people to death. And I would take on responsibilities or make promises that
things like you didn't even have the capacity or,
yeah, that I didn't have anything to do with.
Why were you saying yes? Is that the same?
It was people pleasing.
It was people, so it's
it
the
was
same
people
thing.
pleasing. It was, it was me wanting to like look cool, me wanting to feel successful.
I can juggle all of this at the same time.
Totally. And the pain of letting people down and the pain of people following up 2 weeks later and be like, yo, like, did you do the thing? And me being like, fuck, I did it.
Yeah.
I didn't even start.
I completely forgot.
Or it's been on my to-do list, and every time I look at it, it feels like it's a boulder, like this massive boulder being pushed up versus, and then I read this book called Principles by Ray Dalio, who started Bridgewater Associates, one of the biggest hedge funds in the world. And he wrote this, it's basically like his memoir and the operating fundamentals of how he built the business. And it's all based on radical transparency, and it's all based on like these credibility scores. And you read the book, and Bridgewater they are maniacal about telling people where they're not good, what they're not good at, and like taking them out of meetings. Like if someone walks into a meeting, it doesn't matter if they have like a C-level title, but they're not credible in the thing.
They'll just kick them out.
They will be asked to leave. Wow. Or if they raise their hand and try to say something, even an associate can be like, you don't have a high credibility score.
Really?
Yes.
This is across the company.
This is across thousands of people. It's notoriously one of the hardest places to work.
Wow.
Because of this culture. But when you read the book, and now it's on Spotify, and it's free.
Okay.
So like I listen to it on 2X at least twice a year, just to remind me. But basically what it is like even Ray, who's the CEO of the business, he's just so proud of all the things he's not good at. And it kind of sensationalized these moments of being like, I am really good at certain things and I am really bad at certain things. And then I just started testing that out. And it felt so good. It felt so good to just be like, no, I'm like really bad at that. I'm like, I am super nervous right now. And I just started getting such positive feedback from people the more vulnerable or the more honest I was about the things that I wasn't good at or the things we weren't good at as a business. And thus I'm able to kind of like weed out either, think about it from like a customer standpoint. Like customers like, hey, does your product do this or does your product do that? And
you're just honest with them.
I'm just like, no,
it does not.
We're not the right people for you. And
That's crazy
let me introduce you to someone who can do that. And innately, like that surprises people more and gives them more admiration for you than if you
and more credibility to your product and your company.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to like refer them to friends and now I'm in good standing with this person and I just gave this person more.
And you probably get like 5 customers through it anyways because they'll introduce you to this person.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that all makes sense to me. I think the challenge that I still have with that is I can see that like in the scenario that you laid out in relationships for sure. Like if you're on a date, like be as vulnerable as possible. It always works. Like there's never going to be a girl who likes you less because you were authentic and vulnerable with her. I've seen that every time. But I think where I get tripped up, because I feel like this is the culture that exists as a founder, let's say a young founder in my situation, where you're really proving yourself almost to everybody all the time. If I led with that, like, hey, I'm a 26-year-old founder that hasn't had a previous exit, yet you should invest millions of dollars in capital into my company, but I'm really not strong in all these areas. Like they're looking for reasons to not invest.
Yep.
Right? Like venture, like they have a checklist, they're looking for reasons to not invest. And so you don't have to lie, but you have to be uber confident in everything that they ask you about. How would this apply there?
So in a fundraising thing. So I think my point of view in the venture world is very different. Okay. I believe objectively that anytime you walk into a meeting with a venture capitalist, they are the most insecure people in the room.
And like you believe,
by nature.
Yeah.
So before it was called venture capital, it was called ultra high risk investing.
Interesting. And when did it change? Do you know what year?
It changed in like the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay, it became more mainstream where people...
When like, but like early on, and there's like all these like documentaries about the semiconductor businesses.
Okay.
And all those investors that from Silicon Valley that like were investing, when they were investing in like the 70s, it was all called ultra high risk investing.
Interesting.
Because that's what it is.
Right.
It is complete and entire uncertainty. And as an investor, their entire job is to create false certainty around something that is by nature an ultra high risk investment. So when I would walk into investor meetings, I knew when it came to the thing that I was raising for, which at that point was a nootropic supplement company. And for you, it's this AI company. When it comes to this thing, you unequivocally are the smartest person in the room about your thing.
Right.
Their job is to fool themselves into thinking that they know more
about your company than you do.
But they don't. I heard a podcast the other day about it was featuring a very accomplished investor. And he was like, every single company has pivoted at least 1 or 2 times. Like their Series Seed or Series A projections were completely wrong. So you have to go into all those meetings and like look at them in the eye and be like, no, like this is what I think might happen. And this is everything I'm doing to build this thing. But the likelihood is that you will invest and 9 months later,
I'll do something completely different.
Completely fucking different.
Right.
And that's just the reality. I think you need to know the things that you know and the things that you are confident in, that you are world class at building. And if there's investors who are like hung up on, specific numbers and multiples and like the numbers need to line up, like and that doesn't work for you, then they're not the right investor for you. I think like a big challenge in this like venture thing is like investors waste a lot of our time.
Right.
Like your greatest service is not to be raising capital, it's to be building
the actual
business.
company. Right. It's only taking away from
And
that.
the quicker you can get to a no,
Right.
the dangers are the maybes. These people that like kind of want to stick around.
8 weeks of diligence, 15 phone calls, 2 trips to San Francisco, and then, sorry, we're going to pass. It's like, that would have been much better to know 3.5 months ago.
Totally. And so getting to these no's really quickly. I remember I used to get on these phone calls and I would have their website shared on my screen and I would look through all their companies.
Sure.
And I would be like, hey, it doesn't seem like you invest in any companies like ours. Like, why are we even
taking
here?
this phone call?
And I would just shut up.
Right.
And I would let them pitch me on because the reality is like, I'd love to just we don't need that many investors.
Right. You need like 3 or 4 for like,
And then just let me get the fuck back to running the company. Let's get this over with as fast as possible. Now you do have to do diligence. And I think like in doing that diligence process, it does allow you to step out of the business and look at it holistically.
And actually see the gaps, which is like, that's what I would say about like our fundraising process. I was like, guys, we have to fix this. Like, there's a fault here with product. This is not going to get us product market fit. Like this falls with the legal docs. And we had to fix all of it.
Totally.
And that actually helps you a ton.
Totally. It does.
So I can't hate that part of it. But I think, like you said, the exploratory phase until you get to diligence is a complete waste of time.
Yep. And you know, they walk in, they're never going to show you they're insecure, but underneath they're highly insecure.
And you'd say this across, I mean, there are anomalies to the case. I think when it's like a previous founder who's like built a couple great companies and now they're doing this because they have time on their hands. But I think VCs that have never started a company, that's a little bit dangerous because it's like, how can you give me advice on how to build my company if you've never done it yourself?
I think it's an interesting practice.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about getting into it?
Yeah, that's why I originally starting companies because I wanted to be a venture investor.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And I hung out with a really well-known venture investor in New York, and I was like, how do I get into this? And he's like, go start companies. So I started starting companies.
Yeah.
And as soon as I started meeting with venture investors and like being around them, and now some of my closest friends are venture investors, and I will say, the more I hung out with venture investors, the less I wanted to do it.
It is so much cooler being a founder. Nobody could tell me otherwise.
I think so.
I never want to be on the other side. Like, you have a little bit of power, but if you build a great company, I mean, you have more, you know, it's like.
It's not the way I'm sewn together for sure.
I think for me too, it's like when you're young, I wanted to be like a wealth manager. It's like the thought of you get to be on the other side of the table, guiding and making decisions with other people's money sounds like a nice thing to do in theory. But once you start your first company, you just get obsessed with what you're building and that's all you want to do.
Cool. It's so cool to build shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it can get so big so fast. Like you're seeing it like this.
Right.
Commander is just like fucking exploding, man.
Crazy. 18 months. It's good. Like, I know you sauna. 18 months ago, it was me alone in the sauna in North Miami Beach, working at a clothing company, thinking like, what am I going to do with my time? And then this light bulb just like switched. And now we're sitting here and there's like, 12 people full time on the company. And it's crazy. It's crazy how quickly things can change. What's your perspective on relationships when it comes to, and I spoke with some of the younger guys yesterday about when you're building a company or building anything, building yourself, working towards something, what's the power of a spouse in that process?
Well, I'm in a relationship now.
Okay.
But it's not like a normal practice for me.
Oh, interesting. So you're saying most of
I don't normally like have girlfriends.
Really?
No.
I'm
kind of a lone wolf.
Yeah.
The woman I'm dating now, she's remarkable, and Ruth so smart.
Okay.
And she also kind of like does her own thing. She's got a bunch of stuff going on, and but she has her own thing, and she does it all the time, and we check in a couple times during the day. I think the things I really love about our dynamic as it pertains to the business is, I mean, she's an outlier because she started a bunch of companies before. She's worked in corporate. Now she's in film and directing and producing and acting. So like she has a lot of context.
Sure.
And so she is a good thought partner and has hired a bunch of people and has raised capital and has had exit events. And so she has a lot of context, but I'm probably not as well suited to answer that question as the guys who have been like married for 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess yes and no, because you can attest to what it's like. I guess I'll rephrase the question, because I talk to a lot of founders too, and I'm like, have you seen a direct correlation, either, it doesn't matter, marriage, relationship, from being single, right, and building versus being in a relationship and building? Is there any sort of difference from your perspective, or in your mind it's like, I was building the same way when I was single, I'm building the same way when I'm in a relationship?
Yeah.
Nothing changed?
I don't think so.
Really?
Not for me. Again, it's a highly subjective thing.
Right, because you hear guys, right, that are like, it's only because, like Adam Newman will say, like, only because of Rebecca did WeWork ever happen, right?
Totally, and I believe that to be true.
And that's probably true. And for a lot of founders, that's the case.
Yeah, I can't get inside Adam's head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bet there is, Rebecca's a remarkable woman.
Yeah.
And visionary and super passionate. And he, from everything that I observe through screens, he's like obsessed with her. And that's beautiful. And that's also rare. And we also have examples of friends whose wives and spouses like couldn't quite stomach how devoted they were to the business.
Right.
And I think that can also be a burden if you're torn, you have a partner who wants more of your time and doesn't quite understand like how much dopamine we get from running these companies. I think it's like it's a good thing to kind of pre-qualify early on in dating of like,
can they keep up with everything that I'm?
Are they down with the lifestyle that we live, where we care a lot about building the thing
right
in these moments, and it's just like really entertaining for us.
Yeah, I like the way that you phrase it. You're like, do they understand the level of dopamine that we get from building whatever that thing is? I think also for me, I'm having a harder time, but I'm starting to understand is. And I feel this way. I feel when I'm building and I'm like really zoned into what I'm building, I only want to be around other people that are also creating at the same capacity. I think you've done a good job at finding those people. Did you find them in your 20s? Is it something that came to you a little later? And if so, like what? Because I'm noticing like I'll attract one person that I can relate to, but I haven't found that like group of people that I view as like building at the same capacity that I am, and therefore I can relate to and connect to on that level.
Yeah. I think I've always kind of spent my time, well, number one, I think like innately the way that I view friends is I'm always in learn mode. I'm always curious. I ask a lot of questions. I see the people I'm around as sources of wisdom and influence and experience, and so I'm always asking questions. And because I do that a lot, innately, the people that I'm around, the people that I keep around, are always feeding that curiosity. And so it's like this subconscious vetting, because I'm always just like so curious, and just like this deep hunger to get motivated and to like, tell me what you're doing, tell me what's growing, and like,
and you'll just click with those people that because you're asking so many questions, and you're
and if they can't answer those questions or they can't feed my desire,
and there's no affinity there, they'll fizzle away. Interesting. Okay, and this is a skill that you'd say you had from a very young age, or this came to you a little bit after your first company, or
I think I've been doing it a while.
Okay,
I think honestly I think I kind of subconsciously learned it from my dad.
Okay.
Because he asks a lot of questions, he takes a lot of advice, he studies a lot.
Right.
And I just get really jazzed up around being around people that I find to be like powerful doers, inspiring. And then just like trying to figure out ways to like continue to add value to them in subtle ways. You add value to people, whatever you need to do, then they help, they stick around.
Right. How do you, for myself, there's tremendous highs, tremendous lows in building a company. And I've had a hard time discerning between that correlating to my view of self with just being what's happening in the company. And so I think like many founders, you go through many lows. And so when there's a really good high, that your ego naturally needs to take advantage of that situation. And it goes on this like rampage of like, I am the king of the world. And you feel the need to like publicly display that and express it to others, whether consciously or subconsciously. So how do you tame the beast when so many things are challenging, and then you get this like little breath of fresh air that you want to just take advantage of? Like, how do you,
What popped into my mind right now is, okay, so there's two types of people you can let that beast out on.
Okay.
The type of person that's already there and you're trying to impress, and the type of person that's coming up that you can inspire.
Okay.
I think the one thing that I did well is when things got really good, I focused on all the people that were on their way up, and I just used all of the momentum to like feed them, and it didn't go to like when Thesis was doing really good and we were raising, I wasn't like calling all my wealthiest friends and being like, I'm on your level now.
Right.
I found myself hanging out with like a bunch of people that were 12, 18 months behind us and being like, guys, you can fucking do this. And look at how quick we got here. Look at how many millions we're making right now. Here's what we did. Here's what we did. Here's what
you just went crazy in that. Use the energy there.
Yeah. And then that was just like that was like a pure vessel for it. So it didn't like burn me out. Like, cause if I had called all of our successful friends and been like,
hey guys, by the way, we just raised 20 million. And okay, that makes total sense. You already had those people were those people that you were like naturally in conversation with, or you like thought to yourself, like, who can I potentially push that's like kind of at a stuck level here?
Totally. So the way I think about it is I have 3 groups of business friends. I have business friends that are 18 months ahead of us that I'm constantly asking for advice from. I have business friends that are at my level that I'm sharing insights with and asking. And then I have a group of people that are 12 to 18 months behind us that I'm constantly being like, just let me know what you need. And like, here's what we're doing right. Just copy this. Here's what we did right. Just copy this. Here's what we did right. Just copy this. And so I'm being fed by the guys 18 months ahead of me. I'm kind of like sharing with the guys that are at our level. And then I'm feeding the guys that are 12 to 18 months behind us. And that just like creates this really beautiful flow.
Yeah. Then I said, like, I envisioned a seesaw when you were saying it. It's like you're in the center there, and sometimes it's tipping to the left, and other times and then it kind of finds equilibrium. That's fascinating.
Yep.
Okay. And then spiritually speaking, let's speak it in like a practical sense.
Yep.
When you're in the day-to-day of the operation, you're working, doing whatever you're doing, how do you not just find the time, because I think we can find the time for anything that matters to us, but how do you care enough to incorporate spirituality into your business if it may work anyways without it?
Yeah. I think innately, spirituality works in every end of the business. Like, if I'm very public facing in terms of like my other co-founders. So like I'm doing all of our sales, I'm doing all of our recruiting, I'm doing all of a lot of our account management. I'm managing and motivating the team. How do I almost always talk spirituality first. Like I get on the phone with someone and how are you feeling? Like what's going on emotionally? I think vision and mission is a deeply spiritual part of a business. I think building culture is a deeply spiritual side of the business. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like I'm like leading Zohar classes with my team. It's like feeling them and understanding like if they're struggling, not always making it about business. And when I'm catching up with customers, it's, the first 5 minutes is never about the business. It's about, how are you?
Right.
What are you struggling with? How's your family? How are your siblings? And things along those lines. I think I also I just like talk to God all the time. Like when I'm super anxious, I probably said it like 3 times today. Yesterday and today were really anxious days for me. And like anxious days, especially in LA, are like 10x worse because like there's no one to like motivate you.
Yep.
When you
In New York City,
when you're anxious in New York,
yeah, but you just get back.
it's like everyone's around.
Yeah, there's no time to feel that way. You just got to go back into
Totally,
it.
it's so easy to snap out.
Right.
But in LA, like if I'm in one of my feels,
Right.
I'm like, whoa, this could be like a 4-hour thing and nothing is gonna get done. And there's like a couple times I'll just be like, God, what do you want me to do right now? What do you want me to do right now? And today I was feeling it. I was like, God, what do you want me to do right now? And what came through was keep your promises. Okay, what does that mean? Cool. So we have a master task list between me and my co-founder. And every week we write the projects that we're going to complete. And if we don't complete them, then we are out of integrity. And so when God told me just keep your promises, what that meant is just go. The only thing you need to do is just complete the project. You don't do anything. You don't have to eat. You don't have to train. You don't have to call anyone. You just need to stay in integrity with what you promised your co-founder. And that was the message that God sent me today. And it just like, easy.
Right.
Cool. I open up my Notion. I say, I have 4 more projects I need to get done by the end of the week.
Yep.
Great. That's all I'm going to do. I just need to keep my promise to him.
Simplifies everything.
Simplifies everything.
What are some of the crazy ambitions that you have? Like I'm talking about crazy, not what you share with your co-founder, not what you share with like that you want to manifest and that you want to execute on over the next like 6, 12, 20, 24 months that are just insane that maybe you haven't said out loud before.
I mean, the 2 things that come up, it's for me in the business that we're running right now at the creative studio, it's like really figuring out how to use AI to 100x the output of each person. I think a lot of people are afraid that AI is going to take people's jobs. I think that there are moments where that might be that is true. I think for the vast majority of us, it's going to augment how much we can do and what the quality of our work can be. And so I look at it as how can we be building tools internally within our thing to 100x the output and the ease. I think we're all going to go, right now there's a percentage of the population that are managers, there's a percentage of population that are executors. I think where we're going is that we're all going to be managers, we're all going to be creators, we're all going to be directors, we're all going to be, and that's where we need to kind of like reshift and change of like, in an instant I could have 100 employees.
Right.
Doing everything I want. And that feels very, very exciting to me. I don't know if it's like this massive, that is something I share with my co-founder.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple other companies I'm working on, and they're at the very early stages back in the health and wellness space about, some really cool cutting edge stuff. When it comes to building businesses, I'm this big fan of just doing like one thing better, taking out one friction point. Like if you look at why was Thesis so successful, we didn't invent nootropics, we didn't invent pills, we didn't invent sachets. We did one thing better. We made it personalized. We just did it, and that was our one thing. And so when I look at a lot of like the newer, really high impact health interventions, there's generally a bunch of friction points, whether it's having to work with doctors or having to inject things or having to get blood tests all the time or, not really understanding the clarity, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm really passionate about finding something that really helps humanity out and removing one friction point and building a business around just making it a little bit easier and more accessible.
Love that. Adam, thanks for being on the show.
Dude.
Better the second time around. We'll probably do a third.
Yeah.
Adam Greenfield, everybody.
Good to see you guys.